And this brings us to the fight for net neutrality. Now, InfoWars has previously documented how Google, together with George Soros's Open Society Institution and the Ford Foundation, spent more than $72 million promoting the idea that the internet needs to be regulated by the government as a common carrier public utility under the Communications Act. They were really pushing out this narrative, scaring the majority of people, saying, oh, you're not going to have access to the internet because these common carriers like Verizon and AT&T are going to force you to buy internet in bundles and packages. So if you can't afford a certain tier, then you won't be able to access certain information, right? But ironically, since these 2015 rules were put in place, instances of blocking and censoring have only occurred at a rapid pace on these platforms like Google and Facebook and Twitter. All of these internet giants lobbied hard for these 2015 net neutrality rules. They were heavily pushed by Google and Facebook in hundreds of these closed-door meetings with the Obama White House. We saw Zuckerberg and Eric Schmidt going in and out hundreds of times, but these regulations were carefully crafted to exempt these companies from the net neutrality rules. This was a massive power grab that secured their position as the absolute information gatekeepers. So what does this mean? Regulating the internet as a common carrier public utility under the Communications Act. The Communications Act is the same regulatory framework that was crafted decades ago to regulate rotary phones. Most people don't even know what a phone that used to plug into the wall looks like. Why would the Silicon Valley giants want to regulate the internet under this same rules and classification? Well, basically, this would exempt companies like Google and Facebook and others from the very strict regulation that the FCC would apply to common carriers. So the common carriers, they're basically targeting the original core networks like Verizon and AT&T, these big carriers of the internet. They're going to be strictly regulated, while the content carriers like Facebook, YouTube, Google, they will be exempt from this regulation. These content carriers are allowed to censor the information first and then force, thanks to the net neutrality rules, force the common carriers to carry their censored internet information. They can't fight back against, well, hey, you're only giving us half the story here. No, they're forced to do it because they're being strictly regulated by the FCC, but the content carriers by design are totally exempt from these rules. This is why it is insane and why we've only seen an influx of censorship and content blockage since these net neutrality rules came into place. This Wednesday, FCC Chairman Ajit Pai is expected to make public a draft of a new FCC order. It's widely anticipated to eliminate the net neutrality rules that were put in place under the Obama administration. Chairman Pai has been very outspoken in the past against net neutrality for the simple fact that it's important for all humans. It's not a political thing. It's important for all of us to be able to access information easily on the internet without it being regulated and censored and filtered through these gatekeepers who have a very obvious political agenda when it comes to deciding what's news.